Friday morning, much the same as yesterday morning in Ho Chi Minh City.
Ground floor view of the Majestic Hotel. The incessant traffic. Built 1936. Wonderful place. Here's another view of the front. Lovely old building.
We're in our bus now, about to say farewell Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City. We're heading up to Vung Tau today. I wonder if it'll be as busy as it
Ready? John, watch this. We're going to pass the traffic here. Thank you.
Yeah, they got Ho Chi Minh City like a city of different development city, and then some motorbikes is now really expensive. And you know, the motorcycle look like a car, sometimes $20,000 US. 25,000 euro. 19 million people, and we have more than 19 million worldwide. Because one people they can have 1, 2, 3, maybe 10 worldwide. Because one motorbike is really cheap. Some people motorbike is really cheap. 1,000 US dollar is okay, but
talking motorbikes, you have to get a license from the government to ride a motorbike. You have to do a test.
No.
We're going up to mighty Saigon, I think.
50. We stay outside of Ho Chi Minh City already. More than 60 kilometers from here, we will come to Bình Dương. So I look, you're very happy, right? You talk a lot. And beautiful one. Beautiful food. Better than chicken.
The Australians called ourselves a task force because we didn't have 3 battalions. We only had 2 battalions for most of the time, and so we couldn't call ourselves a brigade or a regiment, so we called ourselves. The DC and the NVA both were structured along very much the same lines. So when I talk about a regiment, I'm talking about the 3 battalions, about 2,200 men. Very picture, and not senseless, it was close enough. There is nothing at all visibly spectacular about a burst of artillery in say, 50 yards away. Along a similar vein, almost all the people, when they're shot, are effectively like a marionette puppet with a string.
How many weaponry here? million something, right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we will look.
So we'll come to Coral, and then after this we'll go to Balmoral.
Where you're standing here is on the perimeter of the Coral defences, Night 1. Basically, the anti-tank platoon and headquarters were over in this direction where the water was across the road. The artillery was here in this vicinity. Mortars were just through here, and artillery headquarters was behind us. So this was the front edge. All of that was clear land, open up there. So from that row of rubber trees to here was open. And they sighted the artillery here, and number 6 gun was just where you got off the bus. That was the gun that was taken, and which now lives in the AWM museum. That was on the first night when they came in and dug in. This was the sort of thing that they were able to dig. You know, just what we call a shell scrape, just a little dent in the ground that you can lie in if you get attacked. So that was their defences. Subsequent to that, and as you know, the companies were dispersed. When they gathered them in, there was a company then in the rubber plantation over there, and one just on the other side of where the water is across the road. Much tighter defence, and they had brought in defensive stores by then. So you had your wire out, and you had mines. When the first attack came in, the enemy that was collected, the dead were collected and brought in and buried in this vicinity. I'm told under here, which is why the shrine is here, but I would suggest that it's nearby, very nearby. We had a number of casualties from this area. So this, to us, to Australians, this is a battle scene which incurred casualties. Pay your respect by all means, then wander over to the Plymouth and
Touch of home.
This area is significant to the Australians, but really, we're significance to us only over a few days. Imagine the people that were fighting to regain this territory over many years. It's also significant to them too, and I'll ask Mr. Ha now to just mention some of that history that is much, much wider than our own history.
Thank you, Dave. During the Vietnam War, we have two forces. The main forces we call NVA, North Vietnam Army. It's well trained and supported by the China and Soviet before Russia. 68 soldiers that died in this area. But in this war memorial, we have 73. And you see that it's the big pole on the middle. We have a Vietnamese sentence. The meaning, the really word to word, that means forever we remember the hero and soldier. Yeah, the meaning, the real meaning. Yeah. So translate to the other meaning, that means our country remember always, forever, the hero and the soldier who died for our country. Yeah. It's made from the type of the car, the truck, and we call it Ho Chi Minh sandal. And we found out some pair of sandal on the barrier. So we know that is the NVA. Very, very special for NVA. They move by this sandal from the north to the south of Vietnam, use this sandal.
We're now moving to the Balmoral site. Transferred to minibuses to get through to Balmoral site.
Look at it, Heather. Oh, it's actually working.
And the last company, so probably something like 400 yards, 300-400 yards by 300-400 yards. A whole battalion.
I did. We're in behind the wire, and during the night, the driver sort of said, "There's a bloke down outside the gate there, he's banging a rubbish inlet trying to get our attention. What do I do with him?" "Oh, we better wait for orders, we'll just watch him for a while." Now later in the night, when the attack started, there was bangs and guns going off, and a lot of activity, a lot of shots going off. And I don't know what time it was, in the middle of the night, 1 or 2 o'clock, what was the timing? Something like that anyway. Anyway, everything went up sort of thing, and as the night progressed, helicopters came in, a flare ship came in, kicking out flares for the night, gunships came in, and they backed us up from wherever they came from. I'm not sure whether there was 1 or 2 attacks during the night.
Two.
There were 2. It sort of started again, and the flare ship stayed with us for a while, and the gunships sort of went away, came back again. But next morning, I came around for a wander around to see what was going on this side, and we had a couple of our APCs out collecting the bodies. If you notice on an APC, you've got the board on the front of the APC for when they're waiting in water. Some of the bodies were loaded on there, taken over to a bomb crater like this. This one's pretty old and filled up now, got silt in it, but it would have been probably 15, 18 feet deep, pretty fresh, and the NVA bodies were placed in the bomb crater. There were infantry there, grabbing bodies too, putting a rope around the ankles, dragging them across the paddock, and they all finished up, well, the most I saw were in a bomb crater. But I think later in the day a dozer was flown in to help with tidying up, and there's probably a photo of me driving a dozer there somewhere in the little book going around. But it's something that you won't forget. There you go.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to add anything to that?
The banging you heard earlier, when you heard that banging earlier, they were probing your section to see where you were they? The
bloke walking with the tank, he's just trying to get our attention.
Fire on him was
probably to draw attention.
Try another spot.
That's right.
Try and find them.
That's the tactics they use.
Yeah.
They try to draw fire, and there's a bloke out the front taking the risk, or at night maybe showing a light, a lantern on a pole, and they try to draw fire, and there's people behind them, the observers, and they can triangulate where the position is that fired. So they can say, okay, well, we know there's a machine gun there, so prior to the assault, they'll mortar that position, even in the dark. They'll give a pretty good accurate representation. Another thing is when they approach the wire and they move parallel to the wire to see if there's any gaps. And if there's a gap, well then that's where they'll jump.